Hooday! Week 1 is finally here, and we are all excited. I can feel your energy coming through from the other side. This is the first time I'm able to do one of these after years of actually working these games and then producing other things along the way. So I'm really looking forward to live streaming throughout this season with you guys. Obviously, you won't be able to watch the game here, but what we will do is we will present the game cast, check in on the box score. We'll be checking in on X and seeing how you guys are reacting to the game. Jump in, hop on the link, jump into the comments section. We'll talk about things in the commercial break. We'll talk about things during the game live. Crash outs are welcome, but I'm having a really good feeling about today's game, and I think they're going to be less crash outs and a lot more excitement to start this season than we've had in the past. So we're getting our first look here of runouts. What did you guys think of some of the stadium arrival outfits today? Joe came through in his aloe gear and looking pretty clean. But who's excited? Drop some hoodays in the comments section. Here we go, Moose. That's right. Big win for the Chargers on Friday night. So let's check out some of the vibe here on social media and see how things are going on there. I'm sure a lot of you are super excited. Gary Owen's hype, feeling it. Some Seahawks fans online. My guy Pete Doug already dressed up and ready to go. Bengals UK checking in. What do we got here? Jordan Schultz, noted Bengals insider. It seems like this offseason he seemed to break almost every big story they had. Giving away a Travis Hunter jersey. What does Charlie have to say? Josh Newton is lined up as the starting outside corner over DJ Turner. Burrow mentioned Newton the other day as the player he's looking forward to watching. So we'll see how that goes. Josh Newton, Fig, a guy, a lot of the fans have grown to really like. Wow, this Rashad JT. But we're looking forward to Josh Newton today. I'm sure we're going to see some DJ Turner at some point. What do you guys think about this outfit? Kyler Murray in the pink cardigan, oversized jeans. I don't know, guys. I'm not feeling this one. Bo Nix starts his sophomore season today. A lot of great storylines today. The season starts on Paul Brown's birthday. Happy birthday to the founder of the Cincinnati Bengals, Paul Brown. We're going to make you proud this year. The team looks good. Honcho asking, what if the team what if Zach showed up dressed like this? God, that would be amazing. But I don't know if Nike and the NFL would be down for it. I think who was it in the past that tried to do that? I think it was Mike Nolan, because his dad wore a suit on the sidelines, wanted to wear one, and the NFL told him no. And I think he was able to wear one for 1 week, but then had to go back to wearing league issued gear. It's just a big commercial, guys. It's just a big advertisement. Zim's got a look at the inactives here. Marco Wilson, cornerback down. Matt Lee, backup center. So Ted Karras. I'm guessing Cody Ford in that situation. If there were to be an injury, Cody Ford might step in and get some snapping. I don't know if Dalton Reisner or Lucas Patrick took some snaps in the preseason. So you probably slide Lucas Patrick over to center and then Dalton Reisner. We're hoping not to see that scenario. But McKinley Jackson with Mike Pennell being elevated to the active roster for this weekend. McKinley Jackson, kind of a surprise inactive. Howard Cross, the undrafted rookie, inactive. Cam Grady, a guy that I think a lot of us were surprised found a home on this roster with a very deep, it's a very large tight end room when you consider Drew Sample, Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki. Surprised that Tanner Hudson. I'm really surprised Cam Grady made this roster, but he's a guy that the coaching staff seems to have an affinity for. Jermaine Burton, this is going to be an interesting one because Jermaine Burton can give you some return ability, can give you something on special teams through the return game, but I don't know that if that 6 wide receiver, obviously Mitchell Tinsley is active. So that, week 1, that says a lot. Maybe Jermaine's still nursing the injury that's kind of dogged him the last couple of weeks, and they just felt like Tinsley's the better option at this point. That remains to be seen. Maybe that also means that, some of the weather this morning, surprise weather in Cleveland affected what they want to do and maybe, load it up with an additional tight end or a better blocking receiver instead. God, this Phillies ladies, the Phillies Karen is one of the funniest stories of last week. Tyler Minerding checking in with a big hooday and a good morning. What's up, Tyler? Santino, he's writing, I will not let the Bengals affect my mental health. Hey, man, it just happens to all of us. We're also emotionally invested with this team, with these players that we all love, that we wear the jersey. I went with the 55 Logan Wilson today. I'm so excited for my guy to return. It's also the only current white jersey I have, and I knew the guys were going to be in white today, so I figured I'd throw on the white. But how's everyone feeling out there? Drop any questions throughout the day, any comments that we can talk about. Throw those in the comments, and we'll continue to talk about that as the day goes on. We'll get real intense in the commercial break. One of the matchups Divine is looking forward to, and I think a lot of us, it was something I had mentioned earlier on social media this week. If you saw the 3 things to watch videos I was posting, Mason Graham, the first-round pick, top 5 pick by the Browns, the guy that they felt more comfortable with, I guess, in drafting instead of Travis Hunter. He's going to be lined up at maybe the soft spot, I guess, if you want to call it that, on the line. The matchup with Graham versus Patrick is going to be real big. And so the game's kicking off right now, and we've got the Bengals receiving. Short return, but we're going to get our first look at the offense and Joe Burrow here. So we'll kind of ping back and forth between X and checking on the vibe of everyone, and we will probably leave the game cast up, the majority. All right, first offensive snap of the season. There we go. Noah Fant, first down on the first play. Under center, nice little play action boot. Myles Garrett. No, it wasn't Myles Garrett. But he's able to get that ball out to Fant, who had leaked out in the flat. And the yak from Noah Fant, the run after the catch. That's always been his strength, and that's going to be such an important part of the role and what he can bring to this offense. Oh, there's got to be a face mask flag on that, but no gain. I don't know if you guys saw earlier this week, Moose, who's helping to call the game for Fox. He was on Kate Adams' show, and he talked about he trusts this Bengals team more in the postseason than the Ravens. So some high praise from the Super Bowl winner. Flag on the play. I'm guessing it's going to be the Browns who came across, but 2 run plays. Offside defense. I'll take the 5 yards because the last 2 run plays have got him nothing. A total of nothing. Penalty was on Myles Garrett, who had jumped across. All right, Chase Brown with some room up the gut here. It seemed like in the preseason their strength, and when they were running the ball, they were a left-handed team, and right now we've seen 3 runs up the middle. That's the first one to gain any yardage. My feed might be a little bit behind ESPN here, so I don't want to tip off too much. Maybe we'll pull up some reaction on X. So they're fully committed to the run here. Chase Brown, a tough 1.5 yards to get a first down, and the drive continues. 3rd and 1. That's going to be a big storyline, I think, today and throughout the season. Is we saw a little bit in the preseason, those 3rd and 1s, those 3rd and 2s, real shorts. God, in the past, I feel like Zach would end up calling a pass play because he just wasn't confident in pushing forward and getting that extra yard through the ground game. And what we've seen here, I mean, there is a legit confidence in the run here, play action again. So every play has either featured the run or teased the run through play action. And we're looking for Noah Fant in the flat, this time incomplete. It'll be interesting to see. There's definitely an effort to force the run here, whether it's the game plan for today or just a new identity for this team. Another run play, another run right up the gut. This one gets some good yardage. Get about six yards or so. Here's our pregame captains. I mean, last year they're 5-0 with this. Let's keep that streak alive. There's a lot of positivity around these 3. 3rd and 4 is kind of a 3rd medium here in Browns territory. Oh, T. Burrow with a dot over the middle to T for a first down. It's a nice first drive. Samaje was in as the 3rd down back on that and leaked out on the outside. I think Joe could have even ran that up the middle, but why when he had T. Higgins on the 2nd level downfield running wide open? Not wide open, but open enough. Back to the ground game, and this is 10 right up the middle. A flag on the play, though. Far side, maybe legal formation. Somebody was probably covered up. And that's Amarius Mims. That's tough. Honcho calling his shot. He wants to destroy the Browns in the worst way. He wants to eat them like Mike Tyson. I'm impetuous. There's Jamar's first target of the day, and it's a catch that gets him about half a yard from the first down marker. So it's going to be 3rd and inches here. Drive is coming up on 6 minutes, 9 plays, 50 yards for this offense right now. And a 3rd and short. If it's anything like the last one, it's going to be a handoff, and it is. Chase with a nice move, and he's going to have another first down. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards. Some nice footwork at the line, nice patience, and got skinny in the hole. Hey, now, pause. All right, 1st and 10, just outside the 10, inside, but it is a red zone opportunity. Here's another run right up the gut. Chase, about 9 yards. So they are continued. This is a smash mouth drive, something I don't think we've seen, even with the Joe Mixon teams in the Zach Taylor era. They are running the ball right down their throats. Chase Brown with 9 here. Actual nice block from Gesicki on that. To give him a lane, and without the safety, and he was taking that in. Yeah, he was inches away. So 2nd and 2, ball at the 5. Bengals offense rolling here. Oh, what a play! What a play! Touchdown Bengals! First touchdown of the season, Chase Brown. First option wasn't there. He stopped and then pivoted and bounced it back the opposite way. He came in for a score. That was a statement drive to show you this is a different offense. This is an offense that wants to run the ball and knows that the pass game is going to be there. But for whatever reason, whether they saw it on tape this week, they made an effort to run the ball right down their throats. Opening drive, touchdown, 7 points, Bengals lead. Let's see how you're all feeling on X right now. Bengals and Brews, my guy. Dale, Chase Brown pounding the rock. Gesicki lane blocks and a dot to Higgins. Absolutely. All positives on that opening drive. Lorenzo Soros says, if the Bengals can sustain bully ball or run to gain these tough yards, this offense is going to go to another level. I couldn't agree more. Divine, loving the Chase Brown touchdown. Here's a look at the box score here from James Rapine, and 7 carries for Chase. Now, we talked about those first 2 carries that got them nothing in the run game, but after that, they figured it out, and he's now going for 4 a pop with the touchdown. 7 carries for 29 yards. Joe, an efficient 4 of 5 for 38. Had that one pass play into the flat that Noah Fant couldn't quite bring in. But again, just made the right look, made the right decision, the right read, and picked up, sure-handed yards. T. Higgins with a catch. Noah Fant with a catch. 4 different receivers on that drive. And Noah Fant had 2 targets. Zim Hude, really excited. Bengals run game, absolutely killing it right now, and I couldn't agree more. Honcho with a more spicy take there. Jake, this gift kind of sums it up perfectly here. Handing the ball off on 3rd and 1 in the red zone and getting a first down. Yep. I'm telling you, 2 third and shorts, both runs up the middle, both converted for first downs. So we're seeing a new wrinkle in this Bengals offense so far to start the season. Obviously, just the first drive of the year, but we'll take the signs are good, so we'll take it. Oh man, more of the Philly Karen. I can't get enough of it. What a weirdo. John Sheeran with a little analysis here. Chase Brown is the footwork and pad level of short yardage back, and that matters more than just bulk. Yep, we saw a lot of patience right at the line and, put his foot in the ground and planted, cut it back the other way, and ran it in for a touchdown. There was some patience on a 3rd and short earlier in the drive where we saw the initial hold wasn't quite there. He paused, and then took it forward for a first down. All right, so now we've always felt like the offense was going to be the strength of the team, obviously. Now we get to our first look at the Santa Clara Standard, this Bengals defense. I'll be honest that in the preseason, wasn't a lot to look at. It wasn't anything to be too excited about. In training camp, they've been world beaters, and they've looked really good at practice. So we'll see. How much was Al Golden hiding in the preseason about their identity? This is a 40-year-old quarterback. First run gets them about 4, maybe 5. Got to stop the run. This team has added pass rushers in the offseason, but you don't get the right to rush the passer unless you're stopping the run on 1st and 2nd down and putting them in the position. We talked about Fig. He's lined up top. Demetrius Knight makes his first tackle as a pro, but that looks like they are going to have the yardage for a first down on that play. If you watch the Bengals season preview party, great. If not, if you missed it, Rhett Lewis of the Big Ten Network, of the NFL Network, he talked about Demetrius Knight Jr. being a GPS for the ball. So just being a magnet to wherever the ball carrier is. And he said that by the end of the season, Demetrius Knight Jr. is going to be in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's very high praise, especially for a linebacker. And so we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. He got the start today. A little bit of a rocky preseason for him as well. Cleveland moving the ball here. Would have loved to have seen a 3 and out, obviously, to start this season and really kind of get some momentum here. But long season. Here's a nice 2nd down and 5 run stop. Joseph Osai in on that. Haven't seen Shamar Stewart out on the field yet. Joseph Osai was number 1 on the depth chart this week. We'll see whether Shamar is a 3rd down specialist sort of role or whether he's just going to be in a rotation. Oh, I think he's actually out here for 3rd and 3. He might be. Third and 3 here at midfield. This could be 4-down territory for the Browns. Handoff. Oh, big stop. Big stop by BJ Hill. That was a nice. There was just no push. Fourth. I mean, it was a short game, but 4th and 1. Browns got the offense out there. This is a really big play. There's TJ Slayton in the middle. You're going to need all that beef up front. And it looks like they're going to get it on a fullback give. That would have been a big play. I don't want to get too hyperbolic too early. Play action by Flacco. Oh, is that Shamar? There it is. That's what you're going to see from Shamar Stewart. A hand in the air and a batted ball. There's a flag on the play. We'll see if the play stands here. But those are the types of plays. Illegal contact, wipes it out, an automatic first down. Oren Burks call for the penalty. Free agent pickup in the offseason from the Eagles. Oh, man. But, again, so Shamar Stewart was rushing from Trey Hendrickson's spot and got a hand up, batted the pass down. But all for naught because there was a penalty on the play. First down. Browns just outside the 40 at the 41 of Cincinnati. Oh, Miles, you cannot. Miles took all the bait there. Lost contained. Flacco gets to roll out. Has a nice completion. Streaming sucks, guys. Not my live stream, but this is great. But streaming the game, it's not the best. You can have the best internet Wi-Fi in the world, and you're gonna get some hiccups and some freezes. Short gain on 2nd down. 3rd down and 3. So earlier in the drive, they had a 3rd and 3. They ran up and gained about 2, and then had a 4th and 1 and converted. We'll see how that goes on this 3rd and 3. I think this team is going to be aggressive all day, and any 4th and short, if it's not too deep in their own territory, they're going to be going for it. I think they know they have to keep up with this offense. Flacco and the Browns are going to throw it on 3rd and 3. Cam Taylor-Britt thinks it's on the Browns. There was definitely some pushing and some holding with Jerry Jeudy and Cam Taylor-Britt. Let's see the call. Pass interference, and they're calling it on the defense. Jeez. Penalties are killing this first drive, this defense on the first drive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Cam's thinking. He absolutely had him in a bear hug. Really hoping to see a bounce back year from CTB. When he's at his best, in those first couple of years, it was a real lift for this defense. A little swing out to Njoku, but there's a penalty flag. There was a block downfield. It might be a hold on the Browns. Oh, we're going to get pass interference on the offense, so they were already engaged in a block before that pass. Got to stay hydrated, guys. Long season. So there's a penalty that goes the Bengals' way here. Checking in on the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, touchdown pass against his former team, the Jets. All right, let's see if backing this team up here, 1st and 20, we can pin our ears back a little bit and get some pass rush. I think we're going to see a lot of screens. Short play, another tackle by Demetrius Knight. Like to see tighter coverage on that play, but it's going to bring up probably like a 2nd and 15 here. I like the new Fox graphics. 2nd and 13, so a bigger gain. They're at the 31, so they're should be in range, field goal range here. A sack would be nice. Trey Fannin on every play, he's looking to Fannin. Fannin already with 3 catches in this game. These 2 drives are going to eat up the first quarter, and the Browns haven't even finished their first drive. They're going on 7 minutes with the ball, 10 plays, 40 yards. So they're happy to just dink and dunk and grind their way. Shamar in the game, rushing from the left side here. Oh, incomplete to Jerry Jeudy. They threw a flag on that. That was really good coverage. That is a bailout flag. It's embarrassing. Nope. And that was DJ Turner. So DJ Turner, active, didn't get the start, been dealing with some injuries, nicked up a little bit. Pass interference. What a terrible call. And again, penalties on this long drive are just killing them. That's a really, really bad call. Got to clean up the penalties. If they're going to call that, and it is what it is, got to clean up the penalties. They had a 1st and 20, and then now they're back 1st and 10, just inside the 25. Now we're running Wildcat with Harold Fannin, but just a short gain. There's our first look at Mike Pennell. Nice play there. End of the first quarter. Browns still in the middle of their drive. That's the end of the first quarter. Let's take a look at some of this reaction here on Twitter. Yeah, Dale, really? I agree. Terrible call. Bailed them out and gave them new life on this drive. Dejon Anthony. So you're not going to let them play, Mr. Ref? Yep, I guess not. Flemlo Raps. Flemlo, keep your eye. Flemlo was my guest on the Mount Sovah, or the Mount Rushmore Sovah Says podcast. That drops tomorrow morning. So Flemlo giving his Bengals Legends Mount Rushmore. That'll be out tomorrow on YouTube. Head over to the Sovah Says channel. Gary Owen, OMG, ticky-tack calls, ref. Santino, not liking it either. James Rapine, flag happy officiating crew so far today. Yep. Zim, weak-ass call. Joe Goodberry, couple of weak calls. If it's going to be that tight, these Bengals receivers are going to have a day. Yeah. Hopefully, whatever officiating is going on goes both ways. It's really the only way you can do this fairly, right? Bengals and Brews agrees. Wow. Yeah, that guy needs to wear a hat. There was nothing there. So let's just talk about some of the good things we saw on that Bengals first drive. We saw some newfound confidence in the run game. 2 third and shorts. There was no pass play called. The first play of the game, they're under center, really trying to sell their interest in the run. It was a play action boot and a nice completion to Noah Fant. But the first 2 run plays for the Bengals got them 0 to maybe even -1 yards. And then after that, it clicked. And that drive was defined by a couple of nice throws from Joe, but mostly a commitment to the run game and some really nice yards. And it ended in a Chase Brown rushing touchdown. 12 plays, a 68-yard drive, 7:28 on the clock. So they used up exactly half of the first quarter, which the Browns returned the favor. Still have the ball here just outside the 20, ready to get in the red zone. I miss that show, guys. I produced that for a long time. Sky Hansen's a great dude. But we're still looking at a 7-0 game. So a turnover, hold them to a field goal, all good outcomes. Maybe even they get a 3rd or a 4th and short and go for it and we stop them. Those would be good too. All right, I think we've had enough of Chris Evans here. Thanks, Variety. Flemlo, all these ticky-tack flags on every 3rd down are hilarious. Yeah, hilarious. Maybe not the word I would use, but I get exactly what you're saying. Refs on some BS today, I see. 100%. I love this throwback Burrow jersey. I got to figure out a way to get down to Cook Sports to grab one of those. 4 flags on the Bengals defense in one drive is nuts. Yeah. And I think really 2 maybe were worthy of a call. Gridiron Grading saying the Amarius Mims breakout into the elite tier of NFL offensive tackles starts today. I agree. There is nobody with a higher ceiling on that offensive line. And really, I think on the offense in general, of guys obviously taking Joe, Jamar, and T out of the loop here. From a Madden standpoint, I think he has the best chance, other than Joe, to eventually reach be a 99 type player, a guy that has all the talent in the world and they love. Still waiting for the second quarter of action to start here. And we're back. We're back with more Kyler Murray outfit. Chad, give me a grade here, and a letter grade. Give me a 1 through 10. What are your thoughts? What are AB chiming in? He looks like he's 5 years old. Honestly, I can't hold him for that take. Like, yeah, he does. It looks like he's walking into his first day of first grade. Like everything's oversized. I get the style there, but bruh. Lorenzo, Zebra's playing the main character. Yeah, they've kind of inserted themselves into this first drive, haven't they? I really hope this is AI. Obviously, I know the Golem isn't, but yeah, Jets could be a long one. I really thought your defense was going to be good, though, regardless. It might hold down Aaron Rodgers for a bit, but obviously it's still early. Still early. These games across the league are all going to the second half right now. We could take a look at the scoreboard, the NFL scoreboard. Let's see how teams are doing. Falcons up on the Buccaneers 7-0 with 2.5 minutes left in the first. And my stream went down. And I missed it. Browns touchdown. Oh, man. Right up the gut. Rocket Sanders. I never heard of him. I watched a lot of tape this offseason. Never heard of Rocket Sanders. Tied after one drive apiece. Definitely not the start we were looking for. Really hope this defense. Obviously, we were helped by the officiating on that drive, but regardless, they converted a fourth down along the way. Kind of ran it. They were patient with their play calling. Not one big shot. A lot of short passes, medium to short runs, and sucked up about 8.5 minutes off the clock. How are people reacting online to that? Ancho saying it wasn't going to be easy. Browns are fighting. Santino with just to look at it, a flag. It's pretty appropriate. 4 penalties on that. An illegal contact penalty, 2 pass interference calls, and Trey gets a roughing the passer. With Trey, you just have to live with some of those penalties sometimes. Obviously he's a sack, machine. And that mentality to get those 17 and a half sacks each of the last 2 years, you're gonna be a guy that kind of lives on the edge and is looking for the next one. And sometimes those happen. But a 2nd and 7, you're still in long range for your first down yardage. Those are tough. Wow, this might be jersey of the day. Jay Mehoff with a 69. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. That's the guy, though, you want at your tailgate. That's the guy that you want at your party because he doesn't take things too seriously, and it sounds like he's probably a pretty funny dude. Oh, Trey. Wah. He must not have liked that call very much. All right. Bengals about to get another chance on offense here. Let's see if they can answer. 9.5 minutes, 16 plays for this Browns first drive. All right, Chuck, get some yard. Oh, Chuck goes airborne. Yeah, I guess, the broadcast here talking about obviously the monkey on the back, the slow start in the games, but talked about how kind of the catalyst for that the last few seasons is the offense's slow start. So obviously coming out the first drive of the season, marching it right down the field for a touchdown, and Joe having some issues with communication here, asking for the play to come in again. If the offense starts fast again, or starts fast, then you have your best shot at a fast start. We want to get back to the 2021 magic, where we won the first game of the season, and Joe's gonna have to burn a timeout. Didn't get the play in quick enough. Wasn't hearing what was going on. Bengals using their first timeout of the half right before a delay of game penalty. Broadcast is going to go to break. We'll continue to kind of monitor what's going on around the league here. Colts winning 10-0. Patriots Raiders about to be the end of the first quarter there. Tie game, 7 apiece. Saints, with their new quarterback Spencer Rattler, they lead the Cardinals, and their little guy at quarterback Kyler Murray talked about his outfit showing up today a little earlier. Steelers and the Jets, 10-9 in the second quarter. Steelers leading by a point. I'm not sure if that was a missed extra point and a field goal by the Jets, or if they've just had to settle for 3 field goals. I don't see any touchdowns here for them, so that's what that looks like. Commanders leading the Giants. Jags, Panthers, battle of the expansion teams from, God, what year was that? They came into the league together. Can't remember, but that's a 3-3 tie. So the debut of Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball there. Sounds like Travis Hunter is going to be a starting corner and going to have a significant package at receiver. We get to see the Jags and Travis Hunter in the home opener at Paycor next week. So those are the games in action right now. Curious to see if this next drive for the Bengals, if it is just as dedicated to the run as it was on the first drive, or were they setting up the pass with the run? There's big plays to be had against a little bit of a banged up secondary for the Browns, down Martin Emerson, who's out for the season. But still, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Grant Delpit, those are still talented guys on the back end for the Browns. You don't want to drop back too many times with pass rushers like Myles Garrett and maybe Mason Graham, Malik Collins for the Browns, a talented defensive line. Best way to slow down that pass rush, obviously, is what they did on that first drive, and it's to run the ball right up the gut and right down their throat. Jeez. 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes since the last Bengals offensive snap. 30 minutes of actual time. Big audible here. Changed the entire formation. Just a handoff for maybe a yard. That's crazy. I don't know that I've ever seen that or heard that in a game before. For a team to go 30 minutes of actual time in between snaps, and there wasn't a turnover. So it's not like the defense scored a touchdown and the offense went back. No, the Browns had the ball for 9.5 minutes of game clock, but with commercial breaks, end of quarter, and everything mixed in. Flag on the play, on the dump off to Chase Brown. A little bit of a late hit out of bounds that obviously is not going to be called because, as we've seen the first quarter of this game, the flags are definitely going in the other direction. And that is Lucas Patrick, the starting right guard in free agency, down on the ground. So we may get our first look at Dalton Risner. Lucas Patrick battled injuries throughout training camp in the preseason. Was kind of in and out of the lineup. Illegal shift. Another flag on the Bengals. Penalty decline. So it's going to be a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. So another timeout. This game's drunk with no rhythm. 11:50 on the clock. Game goes to commercial here. Let's see if the Risner hive has come out on X right now. Oh, a couple of cute kids. 10 days after signing him, the Bengals are about to find out what Dalton Risner can do. Absolutely. They absolutely are. Oh, Justin Fields must have had a nice drive. 4 for 4 with a tutty on that last drive. So that Does that mean they took the lead, or is that just an old score update? No, still 10-9. Patrick is walking to the locker room. Ooh, already seeing some coaching failure crash out tweets. Guys, we're in the second quarter of the first game of the year. Let's slow down. I know the monkey that's on our back right now that we're really trying to ignore, but you got to do it. It's far too early. Kyler Murray with a long pass to Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they're going to have a much better connection in year two. Yep. It is Reisner time. We'll see what he's got. Lucas heading to the blue tent, kind of limped off gingerly. Third and 8 for the Bengals. Burrow in the shotgun. Miles Garrett lined up on Amarius Mims' side this time. Burrow with a nice look. Nice catch by Gesicki. Was popped in the hip, but hops back up, gives a nice first down. 14-yard gain on the play. Yeah, so Gesicki lined up in the slot. Obviously is a tight end by designation only. Really doesn't play much like one. Lined up in the slot out wide and is really just a large slot receiver. Either way, it's a huge first down play. Bengals over midfield. Burrow with a pump fake. Dumps one off to Samaje Perine before he takes a big hit. Short game, about a yard and a half. Burrow's having an efficient day, 7 of 8, 54 yards. You know, a lot of these have had to be dump offs in the flat. Couple of downfield throws. There we go. Here's the first downfield throw. But sails out of bounds. Chase was one-on-one with Denzel Ward. It was pretty good coverage on that play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 9. Joe saw one-on-one, and I think, he's going to take that every single time. I don't know that Chase, it didn't seem like Jamar thought that he was really going to be in on that route. He wasn't really running hard off the top of his route. I'm not sure what was going on there. But big 3rd down. Joe changing things at the line of scrimmage here. Joe's forced to leave the pocket and run for a few yards before being dragged down by Myles Garrett for a short gain. 4th and 7, kind of in no man's land here. We'll see how aggressive Zach is, whether the offense stays on the field. God, Myles Garrett ran right past Orlando Brown. He almost didn't get a hand on him. Was able to loop all the way around and chase Joe down. Joe kind of felt him at the last second, was able to cover up the ball so that he wasn't stripped. But it's a short gain. The Bengals punt team is on the field from their own 43, and Rico's hoping to just drop this one in, and he drops it into the end zone for a touchback. So Browns defense gets the first hold of the game. We've only had 3 drives. Interesting shot going to break there by the broadcast showing Joe Burrow just kind of shaking his head in disgust. Not sure whether that was with himself. At one point earlier in the drive, they had to burn a timeout because they weren't getting the play in. He then was having to tell people where to line up. So a little frustration here on the second drive. Again, it's early. Nothing to crash out about. Nothing to get too down about. Let's see how the vibe is on social media right now. Trevor Lawrence throwing first touchdown pass of the season. Last time we checked in on that game, it was tied at 3 apiece. Marvin Harrison Jr. with a touchdown. Game on saying, I would have gone for it. Your opponent did it multiple times on their drive. Let's go defense. I get that, but again, those fourth downs that they went for were fourth and very shorts. So a fourth and 7 was going to be tough. Now I know based on where they were, it kind of changes the thought there, but Steelers, DK Metcalf with a big catch and run, 21 miles per hour there. Shout out to Bengals dad who's braced up after surgery. Get wetter. Get wetter. Wow. Get better soon, brother. Cincy Stripes saying not the right move to punt right there. Yeah. It obviously in the end netted them about 20 yards because then you punted right into the end zone. So not one run on that last drive. And so, maybe I think there might have been one. I think that might be inaccurate, but there definitely wasn't a major commitment to the run like we saw in that first drive. Willie Lutz defense needs to do something, man. If it bounces in the end zone, it's unlucky. Can't land it there, man. That's John Sheeran. I agree. Makes your decision to not go for it look a lot worse. Bengals kind of string that out, but Logan Wilson's able to chase down the back for a short gain. This took, I guess, a quarter and a half before we got to see this graphic. The most week one starting quarterbacks since 1999 when the Browns came back into existence. 20 quarterbacks for the Browns since 1999, starting quarterbacks. The Commanders second with 17. And so Flacco starting today doesn't get added a number since he was there a couple years ago, but still just a crazy stat. Our first pressure, and we get Slayton putting Flacco on the ground right after he was able to get rid of it just in time, or that would have been a sack and a huge loss. So Browns are going to have a long 3rd and 8 here coming up. Would love to see this defense get a 3 and out. Nice coverage downfield. And then the tackles collapsed the pocket, and they were the first ones to get there. Shamar Stewart was rushing from the outside, and he was locked up by the left tackle. But the pressure right up the gut is what ended up breaking that play. We'll see what Flacco is able to do here on 3rd and 8. Bengals defense, Trey, they set up the screen to Njoku, and it bounces right off his face. So a 3 and out, big stop from the Bengals defense. We're going to get the ball back, probably with some fairly good field position here. On that screen, Njoku turned Shamar loose and was supposed to turn around. I don't know so Logan Wilson got his hand on it before it got to Njoku. So Logan Wilson with a really nice play there, helping force the punt on 3rd and 8. Charlie Jones going to get his first punt return of the 2025 season. We'll see how that goes. Nice kick. He's going to field this inside his own 25, but he's got room to run. And Charlie Jones, Chuck Sizzle, is going to get them just shy of the 50, about the 46, 47-yard line. Nice return of about 22 yards. But starting field position just shy of midfield, I'll take that. Game goes to break here. Let's look at the box score. Let's look at all right, as we look around the league, Falcons leading the Bucks 7-3. Obviously, the game we've been following all morning. Bengals Browns tied 7 apiece. Colts all over the Dolphins in a major way, 17-0. Yikes. Jets have taken a lead in New Jersey at MetLife. They lead the Steelers 16-10. Rodgers having an efficient day, 7-9 for 100 yards with a touchdown. Garrett Wilson with a touchdown for the Jets. So the Daniel Jones era with the Colts off to a pretty good start. 10-12 for a $150 with a tutty. And their defense with Lou Anarumo looks like the real thing so far early on. Tyler Warren, the rookie, first-round pick by the Colts, 3 catches for 43 yards, so a nice first half in his debut. Ashton Jainty for the Raiders, 5 carries, 24 yards. Not much, but the game is tied at 7. We'll see how things go as that game continues. Michael Penix with a touchdown pass for the Falcons. They lead 7-3. Bijan getting that touchdown. So for your fantasy picks, I'm guessing Bijan was a top 3 to top 5 pick. So whoever's fantasy roster he's on, enjoying that a little bit. Set to come back here from break. Bengals driving just shy of midfield. Joe Burrow in the shotgun. We'll see if there's a run here. Yep. Draw to Chase Brown. He gets it to about the 49 here, pickup of 3 yards. So the injury update is that Lucas Patrick, calf injury, is doubtful to return. And our guy, the guy we wanted, the guy we were waiting for all off season, Dalton Reisner in at right guard next to Amarius Mims and Teddy Karras. Chase Brown motions out wide. Burrow's got it. Big completion to Chase. Chase is going to get them to the 30-yard line before he's brought down. So first down, Bengals threatening the red zone. So he just sat down about 10 yards, a little stop route, and then turned it upfield for another 10. 20-yard gain here for Jamar Chase. Brown's looking to bring pressure here. Oh, nice move by Chase Brown. Had 2 guys in the backfield, but a little start and stop. He was able to pick up some good yardage. Puts on the brakes. 2 guys fly by him, one of those being the Browns rookie Mason Graham. And then he just cut on a dime out of their way and upfield for a nice gain. Gain of 6. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Bengals. Burrow under center here. Fant goes in motion. The give is again to Chase Brown, and he's going to get a yard and a half here. 3rd and 2. They're going to give him 2 on that play. Shout out to Mustafa with the calling. Let's get a big win. Let's do it. Burrow in empty. Gets hit, but bounces off of it, rolls to his left, and then hits Samaje Perine for a big first down. It's good to have Samaje back after a year or two in Denver, Kansas City. Oh, a hit to the head that wasn't called. What a shock. If that were a stat, Joe Burrow would lead the NFL in that, and a face mask not called. Oh, now are we getting, yeah, no flag on the play. Another missed call. But I bet if it was Flacco, they would have ejected the other player. Burrow going downfield, and Jamar's being mugged. That's going to be pass interference on the Browns. Bengals are going to have the ball at about the 2-yard line, 1st and goal. Finally, a flag downfield going Cincinnati's way. I mean, Newsome mugging him downfield. Jamar just tossed him. Jamar just literally tossed him into the ground. Greg Newsome pointing at the replay board. Hey, to tell the referee, look how terrible my coverage was on that play. So they're actually going to give him the ball 1st and goal at the 3-yard line here. Last time the Bengals had the ball in the red zone and got down with a goal to go. Chase Brown capped that drive with a touchdown run. We'll see if they continue to try and run the ball down their throats. T. Higgins in motion. Burrow back to throw. We got a fade in the corner to Gesicki, but just out of his reach. So he ran a little corner route out of the slot with Gesicki, and he actually stumbled. So that might have been a touchdown if he doesn't stumble there. Joe under center for 2nd and goal. Chase Brown pushing. Oh, they're going to say he is just short of the goal line. It is going to be 3rd and inches. Would be nice to have a tush push in the playbook. As much as I hate that play. I mean, for the Eagles, where they're out on the field, this is about as easy as it gets to score. Half a yard, 3rd and goal. Jumbo package. Oh, play fake. Wide open Noah Fant. Joe Burrow, touchdown Noah Fant. Bengals take the lead. Cody Ford was lined up as the fullback on the play. So I think everyone in the universe thought they were going run there. And that's exactly when you call the play action. And Noah Fant completely uncovered in the end zone. Cody Ford goes in motion. The guys just run right past Noah Fant. And an easy throw and catch for a score. So if you had Noah Fant as your first receiving touchdown player on the Bengals, you just cashed a big one. That's going to give the Bengals a 14-7 lead with McPherson knocking this one through. Man, both of them have been stressful, though. Both of McPherson's extra points have been hooking. But Joe just lofted that one over the defense to Noah Fant for a score. Bengals take a 14-7 lead with 4:18 left to go. Let's go to Twitter here and see how excited people are on X. Brian Burns looks like he's having a big day for the Giants here. Highlighted him wrapping up Jaden Daniels. Fant, just Eric. Real excited about Noah Fant, the Bengals' new tight end, as we all are. Mr. Fantastic. God, how we didn't think about that. Oh, Ohio State fans. Emeka Egbuka got his first touchdown. God, he's going to be so good. This was a big controversy this week. NFL Red Zone having ads. So they're not completely leaving the game, but again, you're getting a double box. Let's go to the double box for a advertisement. Wingstop. As the Patriots are in the red zone, we'll show you Wingstop is selling wings. Not too bad. I mean, 20-second, 25-second ad there, maybe less. This is going to be a big drive. Yep. Houday Nation see y'all want this ball back. Yeah, I think we all do. Another 3 and out and get the ball with about 2.5, 3 minutes left to go. That would be huge. Get a 2. Now, the Bengals received the ball first, so the Browns are going to get it the second half. So if they could get, some more points, definitely don't want the Browns getting a 2 for 1 here. Another Game On says another masterful drive and touchdown. Starts with Chuck on the return. Yeah, it absolutely did. They started the ball at midfield because Sizzle had a nice 20-yard punt return to get them to like the 44-yard line, 45-yard line. Joe Burrow's first touchdown pass of the year. Chase Brown with a run and Joe Burrow with a pass to Noah Fant. And they've got 14 points and lead the Browns by 7 here. We're all here for the Noah Fant puns. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Reisner signing is looking good. Wow, we've seen one drive, and we'll take that. Joe Goodberry pointing out that under center play action touchdown for the Bengals. That's the best way to sell a play like that, is going under center. All right, defense. Show us what you got. We went 3 and out. We had a 3 and out on the last drive. Would love to see another one. Oh, Logan Wilson breaking that ball up. Second is going to be a second and long, so still a nice clean pocket for Flacco. Would love to see those pockets a little muddier with the pass rush from the middle and the outside. Osai kind of ran his guy upfield, but wasn't really a pressure on the play. Trey Hendrickson in there. Oh, how did that get through? 2 defenders, and Njoku carries guys for a first down. 17-yard pickup. Oh, right between Demetrius Knight Jr. and Logan Wilson's hands. They have got to know that is Flacco's favorite receiver. Nice play on the run. Nice tackle for a loss. It's going to be a 2-yard loss. Geno Stone in the backfield. So an injury to Browns right tackle Jack Conklin. He has questionable return on eye injury. Maybe he didn't like seeing the way his defense is played 2 of these 3 drives. Oh, God. Wide open downfield, Jerry Judy. It's just way too, that zone is just way too open. And again, a clean pocket for Joe. To me, that feels like Demetrius Knight should have been in that zone right there. He just hugged that receiver going up the seam, but there was another linebacker already there. So I think Demetrius Knight needed to play the hash a little. Oh, but as we're saying something about Demetrius Knight that we weren't happy with, he makes a great play on the ball here and breaks up a pass. Those are the types of athletic elite, like close in on a receiver and break up a pass. That was to Njoku. It's a nice play there. And literally every receiver is going to complain on every play, it looks like, that they didn't get a penalty. Second and long here. Oh, Dylan Sampson opened down in the flat, and he gets a good easy 8 yards. So we're going to hit the 2-minute warning, 14-7, but Browns in Bengals territory driving. Looking at the reactions online here while we're in a break. Ohio State fans, Travion Henderson getting the second most snaps here behind Ramondre Stevenson. I think, by about week 4, week 5, I think Travion is getting a significant workload. I think he'll pass. He's just so much more athletic, so much more physically gifted than Ramondre Stevenson. It's going to be next to impossible as long as he's understands the playbook and the run scheme. Some props here for Demetrius Knight with that pass breakup. 55 having a day out there, so some love for Logan Wilson. Yeah. Dale, Bengals and Brews. This defense still stresses me out. 100%. 100%. But some more love for Demetrius Knight. When the Browns do come back out of the 2-minute warning, it's going to be third and short here, I think. Yeah, 3rd and 1 at the Cincy 34-yard line. But, yep. The Dark Knight, Demetrius Knight. Checking in on Miami, yeah. So crash outs across the league right now. Tyreek Hill. The Dolphins are getting throttled right now in the first half, and looks like Tyreek Hill is not enjoying week 1. D Knight Jr. is looking like a player. Dodgers ahead 1-0. Shohei led off that game with a home run. Keep him out the end zone, and it's a win. Yeah, I'd like to get a sack here and keep him in long field goal range, and maybe we get a miss there. I'm Logan it. Okay. Rose says you can't be mad at the defense. They made 3 third down stops and 2 penalties kept the drive alive. I get that. Oh boy, we've got Dildo Gate now in Cleveland, where Green Dildo landed on the field. Jesus. 3rd and short here, and it's a sneak for the Browns, and they get it. Joe Flacco. All right, defense. Oh, delayed handoff here for the Browns to Sampson. Short gain, short gain. So 14-7 here. Second and 7 here for the Browns offense. Whoa. Nice tackle on the flat. Dax Hill. So happy to have Dax Hill healthy and back on the field again. He was their best corner before he went down early in the season last year. Cleveland going to call a timeout here with 33 seconds and third down. All right, as we wait for them to come out of timeout here, Browns finally coming back to the line of scrimmage here. 33 seconds left. We got a 3rd and 5. This has been a 9-play drive. It's taken about 3.5 minutes of clock here so far. So Bengals looking to hold on, knowing that the Browns get the ball and some pressure up the middle. Flacco's going to have to release downfield, and he just chucks it away. He's happy to just have the Browns settle for a field goal here instead of take a sack that potentially landed them out of field goal range. Flacco's first half, 10 of 14, 87 yards. I think, as you know, if you asked us that coming into the game, into the season and into the first week, if you take that from your defense, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. So the Bengals pass defense has looked pretty good for the most part. I've allowed a couple of catches downfield, nothing too deep, but stuff in intermediate range. And the Browns are going to tack on a field goal to make it 14-10 with 20 seconds left in the half here. Can't imagine even with 2 timeouts that the Bengals are going to be aggressive in any way unless they get a big return here. Wouldn't surprise me, another return getting them close to midfield with, probably at that point about 15 seconds or so. You may take a shot or two downfield to try and get something and get yourself in long Evan McPherson field goal range. But we'll just have to see how this plays out. But I wouldn't imagine just a knee here to take things to the end of the half. We'll see how it goes. Charlie Jones has popped a long one already in this game. That was on a punt return where he picked up 20 yards, getting them to midfield, and really kind of kick-started their second scoring drive. We'll see how he does on kickoff here. Does have a career kickoff return touchdown. And not much there. Stopped at the 26, so I imagine with 18 seconds left, a knee is a formality here. I can't imagine them being too aggressive and running an actual play. Bengals fans, everyone in the chat, how are you feeling about this first half? 14-10, the likely score going to the break. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments. But, hey, 18 seconds, Burrow in the shotgun. We're going to see what we got here. Just a little dump off to Noah Fant for 8 yards. Quick timeout with 12 seconds left. Bengals have one timeout remaining. Remember, Burrow had to burn one during some confusion where they were getting lined up too late. He was having some issues hearing the call and had to have it read back in. Burrow on the day, very similar numbers to Joe Flacco, 11 of 14, 88 yards, but he does have the one touchdown. That was the score to Noah Fant on their last possession on the play action touchdown. But Burrow in shotgun here. They're going to look to drive it downfield, avoids one sack, now is rolling out, looking downfield. Nope. He gets tripped up after about a yard gain. Looked like he may have wanted to unload one downfield, but thought better of it, and that's going to end the half. Bengals at halftime leading the Browns 14-10 in Cleveland. Remember, the Browns now will get the ball to start the second half after the Bengals took the opening kick and took it right downfield, scored on a Chase Brown touchdown. Let's check the comments if any questions, reactions. Not quite yet. Well, guys, what do you think? How are things looking? What are your thoughts on the score? If I would have told you before kickoff the game would be 14-10 at the half, obviously I think you'd be happy, but what are your questions? What are your reactions? What are your thoughts about this first half in Cleveland for the Bengals offense? What do you think about this Bengals defense, only allowing 10 points in the first half? I'll give you my thoughts here. Obviously, penalties killed them on that first drive. And that's the drive that Cleveland scored a touchdown on. So you had a roughing the passer on Trey Hendrickson. You had 2 pass interference penalties. One was a horrible call. The other one, I could flip a coin on whether or not I agreed with that one or not. But you also had on a third down a illegal contact downfield call on Oren Burks, which negated a Shamar Stewart batted pass at the line of scrimmage. And the 4 penalties really, really, really helped that drive and helped them get downfield before eventually they punched it in with their running back. The offense, I'm not sure you can fully count that last possession. So if we take out that last possession that started with 18 seconds left on the clock, 3 possessions, 2 touchdowns. That second possession that was in between where they failed to score, there was a lot of confusion and a little bit of mayhem on that. But what we saw in the first drive was a commitment to the run game that really paid off. Chase Brown with some very nice patient runs, some nice cutbacks before he eventually got in the end zone to start things off. And then Joe has had a couple of really nice completions. They got their own big pass interference penalty downfield when Jamar Chase was mugged by Greg Newsome down and to get them to the 5. Then what did they do? They lined up in the shotgun. They lined up under center, brought in Cody Ford in at fullback, a wrinkle I don't think we've seen yet on this team. Cody Ford goes in motion, just shifting over. So you thought they were going to run right. It's play action, and Noah Fant leaks into the corner of the end zone, wide open. Joe drops it in a bucket, and they take a 14-7 lead. Now they were unable to stop the Browns from getting a field goal. They held them to a field goal, but I think that based on what we saw in the preseason and through most of last year, I think holding them to 10 points in the first half, I think is a major win for Al Golden and this defense. I'd love to see some more pressure. I think Joe Flacco's been hit maybe twice. Definitely had one. One of the big free agent pickups, nose tackle TJ Slayton, just missed getting there on a sack. Flacco was able to get rid of it, but it still resulted in an incomplete pass and a pressure. But I would love to see some more Shamar Stewart. I'd love to see Trey get back there. DeJuan Jones, the Browns' starting left tackle, has done a good job on those guys, just with his size and length, sort of making the Bengals edge rushers on the right side really, really work for it. So I think all things considered, you have to be really happy with what the defense has done so far, although you'd like to see more pressure. And but they've done a good job of getting some hands on passes downfield. I'm not going to say it. And that has led to, they got a 3 and out on the Browns' second drive. So I'm happy with what I've seen for the most part from the Bengals defense. Obviously things to clean up and things that can be better. From an offensive standpoint, you got to be happy that with 3 drives, you score touchdowns on 2 of them, and you look efficient doing it. You got to be happy with that. This is an offense that we think is good for 30 points a game, at least 20 in the 27 to 28 range, right? With all the weapons they have, with the health that they have. Now, we did lose starting right guard Lucas Patrick with a calf injury. Now, he's been battling injuries on and off throughout camp and the preseason, so not that much of a surprise for him to tweak something. We saw him walk off the field gingerly, but insert everyone's favorite free agent pickup, Dalton Reisner, and that third drive that Reisner was in for, they did go down and score. So all things considered, very happy with what the offense was able to do. A very balanced offense. Run game with Chase Brown, and then Joe making the throws that we have become accustomed to Joe making throughout his career. Haven't had the big shot downfield yet, but took a couple shots downfield. One was incomplete, and then another was – both were incomplete, but one was a penalty, and so we picked up a big first down on a pass interference. Any thoughts from the comment section? How are you guys feeling about this team? Let's go to X and kind of get our finger on the pulse of things online. Some baseball updates aside. Everybody kind of checking the pulse. We got this. Dale's, a little more colorful than up at the half. Let's finish it. Let's finish it indeed. Joe Goodberry, with the Browns getting an extra half yard on every spot, and I'm not crazy, I can see it. Yeah, there has been some very, very questionable officiating moments in this game today, whether it was a couple of flags thrown against Cincinnati, whether it was Joe Burrow's face nearly getting ripped off again and to no penalty at all. That's the biggest question. How week in and week out does every other quarterback get that penalty, that roughing penalty called, and Joe gets nothing? Joe gets slapped in the face. Joe gets his face twisted off, his helmet ripped off, and he never gets a penalty, ever. Find me one. It's mind-boggling. And so now we've got Joe Goodberry saying that the spots have been in favor of the Browns by an extra half yard on almost every spot. What's happening out here? Is anybody else paying attention at the league office to something like that? It's just another thing that the Bengals have to overcome on a weekly basis. They're just not one of those teams that get the benefit of the doubt from officiating crews, like the Chiefs, like the Eagles, like the Steelers. They're just not. So they're always sort of not one tied behind their back, but maybe their vision's obstructed. Oh, wow. Who's hilarious? Joe Goodberry, a fan of them being aggressive. I thought maybe based on the kick return, Chuck Sizzle only got them to about the 23-yard line, that they were just going to take a knee. 18 seconds, 2 timeouts. What could they have really, done there other than just kind of throw a screen or pop a draw for a big gain? But, a 9-yard pass over the middle to Noah Fant, and they call a quick timeout, and they were still with 8 seconds left, still kind of looking for that play to get them in range, ultimately ending on Joe getting tripped up for like a 1-yard gain. But you like the aggressive nature there. You like Zach Taylor knowing that the Browns are getting the ball to start the second half, and what he was going to have to do to continue to apply pressure, continue to grab points. If Cleveland comes down and scores a touchdown to start the half here, they take the lead. It's 14-10 Bengals. And so everything's sort of flipped on its head. But hopefully we get a nice, strong start. This is what we were just talking about. Joe Burrow nearly getting his face ripped off to no flag with an official staring at it. What are we looking at? What are we watching? Why haven't we got to the point as a league? We definitely know every game is being watched. We know they have the ability to override calls. Why don't they have the ability to check their referees in game when they miss a blatant personal foul? And I'm just talking about personal foul penalties. That's a 15-yard penalty right there. Why are we so afraid as a league? Why are we so afraid to call our referees out when they miss an egregiously bad call, a personal foul like this? It makes no sense. Since when I worked at the NFL and we would have guys like Mike Pereira and Dean Blandino come on and talk about penalties that were missed, never, ever, ever did they want to take accountability for, it's such a fraternity for the officials, and they never wanted to take accountability. And you know what? We missed this. There was always a reason they missed it. There was always a way to defend the poor officiating. This is, I could find 15 different images like this of plays that have happened in Joe Burrow's career where these sort of things have happened and no flag called. And I bet you more than half of them are like this, where the officials in the background, and you could see that they're looking right at it, but not doing anything about it. Now, ultimately, I believe this drive is the drive that led to the second touchdown. So it didn't, in the long run, matter. But you know where it matters? Everything adds up. And if this would have been a drive that ended in a punt, we would obviously be a lot more heated, a lot more outraged. You got to make these calls. You can't continue to miss calls like this. It can't be so one-sided. If that was Patrick Mahomes with his helmet like that, we saw the play on Friday night, right, where Patrick took advantage of a defender letting him ease up out of bounds before Patrick then delivered the shoulder and thought he was like hot shit after that. If that was Patrick Mahomes right there, that other player would have been ejected. You can't tell me that that's not a penalty. Halftime, winding down here, and it looks like the start of the second half is about to start. The Browns are going to be getting the ball. Shot of Burrow contemplating life, this game. Hey, fantasy players, who's excited? Christian McCaffrey will play. Yeah, so the broadcast is pretty interested by the Bengals mix of run and pass to start this game, to start this season, really. See how this defense responds here to open things up in the second half. Flacco under center. We got to make those tackles. Demetrius Knight cleans it up, but it's after he's already about 7 yards downfield. I do feel a turnover here. I feel a tipped ball that's going to bounce up in the air for a pick. There you go. That's how you feel. It's going to be a third down after losing about half a yard to a full yard on that play on second down. So 3rd and 3 for the Browns. That's a nice run stop. So BJ Hill, TJ Slayton were there, and then Logan Wilson helps clean things up. That's how you rally to the ball. That's how you stop the run. Nice play by 55. Finish that off. All right, 3rd and 3. Let's get a 3 and out to start things off. Flacco's been really committed to throwing to the tight ends, whether it was Fannin or Njoku. We'll see what they do here. Up some pressure. Fannin open downfield. Big gain here for the Browns, about 15 plus. 15. So there was pressure. They flushed him from the pocket, but Fannin ran a nice pivot route and was able to kind of break free of Jordan Battle there in coverage. But they did bring Logan Wilson on a blitz, forced Flacco to kind of roll to his right, and he was able to find the open receiver. So Browns already across midfield to stop here. We've got to stop the broken tackle. Fannin, instead of getting like 2 yards, Dax Hill can't bring down the tight end. Adds another 6-7 yards after the catch. But there is a flag on the play. Holding on the offense. All right, we'll take that. We will take an actual penalty against the Browns. Left tackle DeJuan Jones called on that. That was a Max Murphy pass rush there. Or excuse me, Miles Murphy. I love Max Murphy on X. Always some good insight and some good teases to what's going on behind the scenes. But Miles Murphy held there. Miles Murphy with a nice rush that would have resulted in a pressure most likely if DeJuan Jones didn't hold him. Another timeout here. So we'll check out what's going on social media here. You know what? Let's also kind of scroll through what else is going on around the league. Buccaneers, Falcons tied at 10 at the half. Colts continuing to pour it on, 20-0. That's the story of the day so far. Third quarter here, Colts 20, Dolphins 0. Patriots with a 3-point lead on the Raiders at the half. Travion Henderson, 27 yards on the ground. Drake May has a touchdown through the air. Cardinals now have taken the lead against the Saints. They're in the third quarter. Marvin Harrison Jr. does have a touchdown along with 3 catches for 57 yards. Kyler's thrown for 2 tutties. If Alvin Kamara is on your fantasy team, you've seen him get a touchdown on the ground as well. Jets starting the second half at the Meadowlands, and they lead the Steelers by 2 points right now. Aaron Rodgers has 2 touchdowns for Pittsburgh. Garrett Wilson has one, former Ohio State star. He has one that he caught from Justin Fields in that game. Let's see. Let's get some reaction here. Bengals Browns still at commercial. So Harold Fannin for the Browns, 4 catches for 34 yards. That's a rookie that a lot of Bengals fans, I think, really liked looking at in during the draft season. Looks like Logan Wilson is the player that had to leave. He took a helmet-to-helmet shot from Fannin, and then his head hit the turf. This is according to Jay Morrison. So that means that rookie Barrett Carter is going to come in the game here. I'm sure Oren Burks will get some of that, but Barrett Carter, a guy I liked a lot coming out in the draft, was probably despite being a rookie, the best. Here we're going to get a look here as the game's back. Wilson did take a big shot, head hit the turf. So at the very minimum is in the blue medical tent. So 1st and 20 for the Browns, and Barrett Carter does help make that tackle, but David Njoku is able to get a pretty significant chunk of that penalty yardage back. But like I was saying about Barrett Carter earlier, is probably the best pass coverage linebacker on the team, as we saw them literally, as we're speaking about it, catch a pass on him. But, DJ Turner able to break that up, no flag. That's the type of play that in the first half, DJ would have got penalized for. It seemed like they were calling those. But I think the fact that he gets his head turned around and looking back at the ball while he makes the pass breakup, that's a really nice rep from DJ Turner. That's a nice play. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 8 here. Now, this is probably 4-down territory based on how aggressive that the Browns have shown to be here. Love to see them throw an incompletion, obviously get a sack here, so that it takes sort of the 4th and short out of it. And that's easy. That's just an easy pitch and catch right there. Right over the middle. That's a 1st down. The Browns are going to continue this drive now deeper into Cincinnati territory. Flacco under center for the 1st and 10 play here. Oh, nice play in the backfield. Bengals rally. Looked like Joseph Osai was the first one to get in there and make the play. Couple of good reps in the run game from Joseph Osai so far today. But that's what they need that's what they need is more of these really good stops on early downs, forcing the Browns into 2nd and long, and then eventually 3rd and long. 2nd and 10 here. As again, the Browns, when they have the ball, continue to just eat clock. Are we going to get a delay game, or are we going to get a timeout here? Nope, we get a delay game. It's going to push him back 5 yards. All right, 2nd and 15. Some pressure, but God, Flacco gets rid of it, and they almost get all 15. Sampson gets about 14 of that as Flacco is getting hit. That has got to be – that's about as deflating a play you can have as a defense, where you're all over the quarterback, It's a nice play by the offense. The other team's paid, and then Barrett Carter misses the tackle. And here's a sight we didn't want to see, right? Logan Wilson, first game of the year, he's back. He's walking back to the locker room. If that's a concussion, that could be multiple weeks. Hope for the best here. Bengals bring pressure. Browns have an answer, swinging the ball out. But Demetrius Knight makes a nice tackle, but just past the first down. It's going to be 1st and 10 Browns. Browns wanted a flag on that because they want a flag on every play. But Browns in the red zone here, 1st and 10. Bengals got to stop and hold them to a field goal. Flacco's going to have to throw it away because there was some pressure. He had a receiver that was going to be wide open, and if he had another half a second to wait before the pressure got there, it would have been a touchdown. But thankfully, pressure got to him. He had to pull the ball down. 6.5 minutes on that the Browns have drained off this clock to start the half. Another 10-play drive. Your offense can't score 30 points. Your offense is going to struggle to score, in mid-20s if your defense is on the field for 8 minutes every drive, 10 plays. Here's a little screen play that's busting open, and Dylan Sampson is brought down about 3 yards shy of the first down. But everything is sort of gone. They've had an answer for the Browns have anyway. And here's another Jordan Battle, just low effort tackle play. And that was the one thing with Jordan Battle I never thought we would see is low effort trying to make tackles. But it's really starting to become a problem. We saw it in the preseason several times, and we saw it there. Another first downs, 1st and goal here for Cleveland. Looking to take the lead here. Touchdown gives them the lead. And easy money, touchdown over the middle. Cleveland takes their first lead today. No pressure, clean pocket. How are we feeling, guys? Let's see tell me how you're feeling. Yep. So we're starting to get the crash outs a little bit. Doesn't feel like a new defense. Feels like a continuation of the last 3 seasons. No pass rush, no cover. Linebackers are no longer a problem, though. Who would have predicted that adding a rotational nose tackle and just a depth linebacker wouldn't be enough? Good work as always. You got to find a way to stop nickel and diming. We've seen a lot of that from the Browns offense. This defense has got to make more plays, man. Can't always let these idiots move down the field for 8 minutes. Absolutely. Aside from the second drive, which was a 3-and-out, they've held on to the ball with possessions close to 8 minutes or longer. and your offense can't score when they're sitting on the sideline. We saw that stat in the first half where the Bengals offense, when an actual 30 minutes of actual time, not game time, but actual time, an actual 30 minutes without seeing the field. And that wasn't because there was a defensive touchdown that caused the offense to reset. You got to get off the field. You got to make plays on third down. Now, the Bengals are going to get the ball here, and they've been hard to stop. So I fully expect them to come down and retake this lead. But it's not a scenario that I wanted to see in week 1 where we're in a back and forth game with this Cleveland team that is honestly expected to be towards the bottom of the league. Bengals defense has provided no resistance at all. Anemic pass rush, soft coverage. Browns methodically drive down the field. Logan Wilson to the locker room. Browns attack the middle of the field and the rookie linebackers in coverage. Yeah, he did. 69 yards, 13 plays, 7:40 off the clock. Those are just numbers that they're obviously bad as a whole. They're bad, but they're bad. That 7:40 off the clock means that that's the offense cooling off. That means that that's the defense now wearing down. 3 drives of 7.5 minutes or more, and it's going to wear down that defense. And even the best defenses are going to be worn out and have trouble stopping people in the fourth quarter. That's what I don't want to see now, is this defense getting worn down to the point where the Browns are just going to take over with the run game because the defense is gassed. So the kickoff goes to the end zone. Charlie Jones takes that touchback, and the Bengals are coming back out on offense here. Guys, how are you feeling? What's your confidence level at that they come back down and retake this lead? Burrow's numbers so far today, 11 of 14, 88 yards and a touchdown. But, man, he's barely seen the field. That's really in 3 drives. Play action to start. Throws it out to Noah Fant, hoping for some yards after catch. Going to get a decent gain, maybe 5 yards. I think they were really hoping to get a stop here right out the half and then be able to go back to that run game. But first play, finding yourself trailing, I think it's going to, sort of force Zach's hand a little bit. And he's going to want to lean back on Joe Burrow in the pass game. Oh, here's the run. And he gets about 3 yards here. So we're gonna see about a long 2 here. And we're getting some hurry up here. Joe rushing them back to the line. Third and 3. The Browns Stadium is starting to come to life a little bit. That's the other thing, by them taking that early lead sort of took them out of the game here. Oh, deep shot downfield, and Chase can't come down with it. Yeah. So they're going to have to punt it. So what we missed is the Browns missed the extra point. So it's only a 2-point lead. So a field goal takes the lead. Now, having said that, they're punting the ball right back to them. We cannot have another scoring drive. We cannot have another 7, 8, 9. Oh, special teams letting that return be a lot better than it should have been. But God, it was right in Jamar's chest, but Greg Newsome's hand was there and it jarred the ball loose. So it never really reached Jamar. Going to be real interesting to see how defense responds here with the 2 rookie linebackers. Now, I'm guessing we'll see some more Oren Burks here on this drive. We saw a lot of Barrett Carter immediately when Logan Wilson went out, and that's because initially he's been listed behind Logan on the depth chart with Oren and Demetrius Knight, but you're probably going to need some of that defensive veteran influence, especially at that second level. We just really need to see some pressure from this defensive line. That's been maybe the biggest disappointment so far today. Trey hasn't really been close other than the play he got the roughing the passer call, and Shamar hasn't been back there. The tackles have made a play each, but we're still waiting to see some more aggressiveness from this defensive line. Look around the scoreboard here around the rest of the league. Falcons, Buccaneers tied at 10 in the third quarter. Colts continuing to shut out that Dolphins offense. They lead 23-0. Daniel Jones in his first start as the Colts quarterback, 20-26, 242 yards through the air and a tutty. Raiders have taken the lead over the Patriots in the third quarter with a touchdown of their own. The rookie Ashton Jeanty with a touchdown on the ground, helping give Las Vegas the lead in Foxborough. The Cardinals doubling up the Saints in New Orleans. They lead 20-10 behind a couple of touchdowns from Kyler Murray, one to former Buckeye Marvin Harrison Jr. Saints have the ball in the red zone, but still trailing by 10 points. Steelers trailing by 2 at the Meadowlands, facing the Jets at MetLife. Aaron Rodgers with 2 touchdowns on the day. However, Pittsburgh is still trailing and looking to punt here in the third quarter. All right, so Browns start their next drive. Flacco finally brought down, sacked. Looks like Trey Hendrickson is going to get the credit for that one. If not, he'll split that one with BJ Hill, but I think they're going to give Trey a full sack on that play. He came around the edge and was able to trip up Flacco after a play action. Yes. Flacco even kind of looked like he was stumbling, may have stumbled into that sack, but 2nd and 16 here for the Bengals, for the Browns. Bengals looking to get them off the field again. Another pressure here, but Flacco's able to escape. Oh, picked off. Jordan Battle on the ricochet. Wow. So the ball came out of the hands of a Browns receiver as he was sort of ricocheted off his hands, and Jordan Battle was Johnny on the spot, able to pick that ball off. And we get our first turnover of the game. Some good pressure on that by Joseph Osai and Shamar Stewart, but Jordan Battle. It's going to be interesting to see whether he was rolled down by contact. Yeah, he's not going to get credit for the return since he was touched. But the turnover is going to stand. That's a clean interception. First turnover of the day. And the Bengals are back on offense and in business in Browns territory. Yep, ruled down by contact. Official confirmed. However, the interception is good. A couple of former Bama guys involved on that play. All right, Burrow in the offense back on the field, looking to regain the lead here. Gesicki in motion. They're going to swing it to Chase Brown. The Browns running back or linebacker. Second and 9. Really haven't ran the ball much since that opening drive where things were really clicking. Maybe about 3 or 4 carries for Chase since then. Play action.
Throw it. Eesh.
Long 3rd and 9 here.
Throw it deep.
Yeah, first down, T. Higgins.
Let's go.
Haven't seen much of T since the first quarter.
He's just... There you go. There you go.
T catching that in on Denzel Ward, who was in man coverage on that play. A new set of downs, though. That's the important thing. Chase Brown with a nice run. Got in behind. Is that a pulling Dylan Fairchild? Second and 4 here. Joe goes under center. Calling an audible here. Oh, Gesicki can't bring it in. It's going to be incomplete. 3rd and 4. Reiser's doing a really good job on Mason Graham for the most part since he's been in there. Denzel Ward did get a hand on that pass before it got to Gesicki, so he'll get credit for a pass deflection. But a 3rd and 4 here is a big down. Obviously in Money Mac range, but would obviously like to get more than 3. Bengals go empty. Chase Brown with a drop. Bad drop. Not sure he would have been able to make the move to get the first down, but you just can't drop passes right in your stomach. So that's going to bring out, oh, God.
It wasn't even close.
I mean, Joe hit him in the face with that pass. All right, so
Big money. Sorry.
Evan McPherson comes out and try and give the Bengals the lead here.
There you go. Make money.
That's going to give them the lead. Remember, Cleveland missed the extra point on that last touchdown. So that's why the Bengals now lead by 17-16 as the game goes to break here. Let's get some reaction based off that last drive. Let's go to X here and see what people are saying about things. Obviously, got to be a little happy with some points and retaking the lead, but after getting a turnover, you probably really, really hope to get more than that. Yeah, Game On says you got to come away with more than just a field goal there, but I'll take it. I'll take the lead, 17-16. Dear defense, do it one more time again. Yeah, would love another turnover. Paul Daner Jr., Bengals turned the Jordan Battle interception into 3 points. Disappointing, they only get 3 after the 3rd and 9 conversion to Higgins set them up in the red zone. But a lead, still back in the lead. We've got to see if some of that pressure from that last drive carries over. Jay Lisco says, running that play to Denzel Ward side with Gesicki and Chase Brown is an interesting idea, but a great play from Schlesinger, and they stayed disciplined anyway. Going to take a quick break here. Be back for the start of this next drive.
So there's games at 10 and then what time? 1?
Mm-hmm.
And then 5.
All right. 2:44 left in the third quarter. Logan Wilson is back in the game after being evaluated for a concussion, headed to the locker room. And he's in on that tackle. Short gain here for the Browns. After a run with, it's not Dylan Sampson, another back they've got.
Ready for another pick.
Got to stop this offense. Can't allow any more 7-minute drives. Got to get off the field here. Some pressure. Flacco. Nice tackle.
Wilson?
Logan Wilson involved on that. Is that Tyson Anderson on the field in a defensive snap?
Okay.
But he was involved on that. I'll have to go back and look at the game book on that. I think that was Tyson Anderson involved on that tackle. Does that mean that there's an issue with Geno Stone or Jordan Battle? 3rd and 4 here. Huge 3rd down for this defense. Love to see some pressure. Jordan Battle showing blitz, but he just falls off into coverage. Another big play. That's actually the same play they ran for the touchdown just at midfield right now. That's a big play. Converts third down, and it's going to get them to midfield. That's a ball. That's a route. Cam Taylor-Britt in coverage, and he just got beat really bad off the line on that. That's the longest play for either team. Browns in Bengals territory on the other side of the 50, but a nice stop. Chris Jenkins Jr., first time I think we've called his name today. Chris Jenkins Jr. is the guy that Al Golden said was the best player on the team in camp this year. So really need a significant impact from Chris Jenkins. We need a leap from year one into year two. And when he came out of Michigan, we thought that he was going to be a guy that got them a lot of pass rush and pressure. And we just didn't see that in year one. And hopefully we're going to get that in year two based on what the things that we've heard from reporters and from Al Golden and Coach Zach Taylor in the offseason. End of the third quarter, Bengals with a 1-point lead. Doesn't get any closer than that. Quarter goes to break. We'll take a look at, let's go around the league here for a second and check in with some of these other games, see how some of these other teams are doing. All right. Bucks now leading the Falcons. This game was 7-0 Falcons, and the Buccaneers have sort of taken all the momentum away. They lead with 4:29 left in the third, 17-10. Bijan with a touchdown. Penix with the touchdown throw to Bijan for your fantasy squads. Dolphins just don't have an answer this week. 23-0 in the fourth quarter. This game, I think, is the furthest of all the games at this point. And the Colts and that Lou Anarumo defense looking to pitch a shutout in their first game together. Oh, that won't make some Bengals fans happy. Las Vegas, they lead the Patriots 14-10. Geno Smith with a touchdown pass. Ashton Jeanty, the rookie, he's got in on the ground, and the Raiders lead. A Raider defense showing some teeth here early on. They lead with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Cardinals doubling up the Saints 20-10. Spencer Rattler, the new Saints quarterback, 18-25 for 138 yards. Nothing really to brag about, but I think that's more passing yards than Burrow has at this point. You know, honestly, with the way the Browns have controlled the clock, it's really, really taken the steam out of the Bengals offense since they took the lead at 14-7. Steelers, the Jets have now extended their lead. Jets leading 26-17. Rodgers does have a pair of touchdowns, but let's look at this box score. Let's look at what has Justin Fields done on the other side. 173 yards through the air, a touchdown, and another 32 over and on the ground. So we are back in action here. Browns playing. Flacco rolling out, chased out of bounds by Chris Jenkins after a short gain. And that's going to bring up a third and medium here. Another 3rd down and 5. These 3rd downs are really dogging this defense today and allowing them to have these long, drawn-out drives. This is going to be 4-down territory. They've got to make 2 stops here. The Browns inside the 40 here. Flacco back, no pressure, able to get the ball. Harold Fannin with the... Oh, it looked like it was going to potentially be a fumble, but they're going to rule that incomplete. That's going to be 4th and 5. Cam Taylor, Britt, I don't know if he was able to, we'll see on the replay here, if he was able to break it up or if it was just a bat on it. It was just a stone cold drop by the rookie tight end for the Browns. It's a nice pass from Flacco. It should have been a big first down and a really nice gain. And instead, it's 4th and 5, and it's a huge play, huge moment in this game. Let's see if they dial up any pressure. I haven't seen Al Golden dial up much pressure at all in this game, and they continue to rush 4. And another drop. Jerry Jeudy this time.
Let's go.
Bengals are going to get the ball on downs. We will take back-to-back drops. At this point, we're not so proud where we won't take that. It still means the same thing. It means Bengals ball, but Flacco and the Browns offense got to think like we have killed ourselves on that drive. 2 terrible drops, one on 3rd and 5 and one on 4th and 5, both that would have been a first down and kept that drive alive in deep in Bengals territory. Instead, Cincy's offense is coming back out onto the field. At this point, you dodge bullets, especially in division games. You dodge them however you can. I'm just very, very, I guess, maybe surprised that Al Golden hasn't dialed up any pressure. I think we saw Logan Wilson blitz on one play, but for the most part, he's trying to get home with 4 and deal with, the max amount of coverage on the back end. And I just don't think that's the tactic I would have used against the Joe Flacco. I want to get that 40-year-old quarterback flushed out of the pocket on the move. And I know they've done it a couple times, but that's not through the blitz. It's very interesting to see that if you kind of went by some of the signs and clues you got through watching the way Golden coached at Notre Dame and the success he had, he was aggressive. He brought pressure. He brought pressure from the secondary, and we just really aren't seeing that today. I don't know if they saw something on film that made them want to rein things in a bit, or they just think that their 4 can get home. This is still a very good Browns offensive line. And if you just think that your 4 are going to consistently win when they haven't proved that they can do that through 3 quarters, I think you got to start to look to generating more pressure and manufacturing it through blitzing. See what happens here. Hopefully the offense can extend this lead even further, but we'll see what happens the next time the Browns are on offense, because they were back in Bengals territory again and basically shot themselves in the foot twice, and that's why they are not continuing this drive. Joe going to work out of the shotgun and give to Chase Brown, and that is a gain of none. I'm not sure what changed in the second half as far as other than the personnel with Reisner being in there, but they're not getting that same push in the run game that they did early on. And this passing offense, I mean, those numbers there, 2 catches each for Chase and Higgins, and their yardage really very tame. Burrow in the fourth quarter, we're looking at 100 yards on 14 completions. Higgins unable to get both feet down. Would have been a big catch. Burrow put it right there. And it looks like T's second foot lands out of bounds on the big hit. That would have been huge. Instead, 3rd and 9. Browns pass rush gets to pin their ears back. Joe going empty here on 3rd and 9. Myles Garrett lined up over Zeus. We'll see if Zeus is timeout here. You don't want to burn these this early in the 4th quarter, but this is a huge down. Jamar chopping it up with his former LSU teammate, Grant Delpit. Burrow today, 14 of 22. That's a completion percentage in the low 60s. You know, that's not like Joe. He has had Browns corners have got their hands on a few balls today, so have eliminated some big plays downfield with that. But this Browns crowd is in it. Is this going to be a loud 3rd down? And they're going to go empty again here. Myles Garrett lined up on Zeus's side. We'll see how this goes. Samaje motioning back into the backfield. Burrow with a can. Myles Garrett looping around. Chase catches the ball. Looks like they're gonna say he was out of bounds. Garrett with a big hit on Burrow, and they're gonna be forced to punt.
Again?
Yep, 3 and outs. They have got to be better at picking up these twists.
That's a win this game by 1 point.
That is not 1 yard in 3 plays is not the way you get the incompletion on the sideline to T. Higgins, where the hit pushes him out of bounds, and Rico's going to throw another one into the end zone. It has been a really poor day of punting from the 2nd-year punter, Ryan Rico. Hopefully you don't need to use a guy like that very often, but when you do, you need him to not drop the ball in the end zone. You need him to be clutch, and we've not seen that from special teams today. Other than the Charlie Jones return, special teams it needs some work. It needs some improvement. Game is in a TV timeout. We'll head to X to see what's going on here. How are your nerves, guys? Drop in the comments. How are we feeling? 1 point lead late in the 4th. The last time the Browns had the ball, we got off the field because of a couple of drops, consecutive plays with drops in Bengals territory. Wow. Okay. 4 quarters into the season, 3.5, and we've got the first Fire Zach post on Twitter. Everyone slow down. Come on, defense, win the game. Yeah, they have to. We talked about it before the Bengals got the ball on offense. The fact that we're not seeing a lot of pressure packages and a lot of blitzes dialed up by Al Golden. Maybe he was waiting for moments like this. If you're not going to call him now, when are you going to call him? You've got to get this defense off the field. You can't have another drive that takes them into Bengals territory and hope that they're just going to drop the ball and completely shit the bed. We've got to see the defense force a punt or a turnover on their own. We saw 1 interception, but again, that interception was a drop that bounced into the air that the Bengals took advantage of. And those plays that are going to happen, and those are all good plays. But we need to see them force these plays. This is too much looking like a game where the Browns offense just sort of gave the ball back. whether in through their own miscues and mistakes. We need to see the Bengals defense really load up and force these miscues and mistakes on their own. We need to see a 3-and-out here. Back from break and first down. These swing plays to the running back have worked all day for the Browns. They haven't been able to run the ball since their first drive, but man, the backs leaking out in the backfield, out in the flat, these are open on every play so far, and they get them 7 to 8 yards every single time. At some point, you need to maybe call a cover 2 to have a corner sitting out in the flat. Here's a 2nd and 2. Browns get the first down. We're not going to get that 3-and-out that we were hoping for, but they're still in their own territory, deep in their own territory. Got to make a play here. Godly. Huge play downfield. Because Flacco's allowed to just string the play out and jog downfield. This is a 40-year-old quarterback that they are letting do shit like this. TJ Slayton not going to catch anybody. Jordan Battle in coverage, getting beat downfield. Browns across midfield in Bengals territory. Nice open field tackle there by Oren Burks, and a lot of pressure. Flacco had to swing it out to the outside to one of those plays. Fortunately, Burks was lurking out there, and they're able to stop this for no gain, maybe even a slight loss on the play. Second and 13, so a 3-yard loss. Got to get a stop here. Ball at the Bengals 49, roughly.
There you go.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and long here. But where they're at, you've got to feel, unless there's a sack or a significant loss of yardage here, this is 4-down territory for the Browns. So you're going to have to stop them in 2 plays in a row. Flacco continuing to just target the tight ends at will in this game. This is where you need the pass rush to really dial it up.
Get him.
Make that tackle in the open field. There you go, Jordan Battle. Flag on the play. Maybe we'll get lucky with a hold.
There you go. There you go.
It's against the Browns.
Who's it flat? What?
Let's see if they accept or decline. Holding. Penalty is declined. This is interesting because so Trey was beat. Kind of a ticky-tack penalty, but looks like the Browns are going to bring the he's a big dude. Browns are going to bring the punt team out. Bengals getting the ball back. So that's a huge stand there for the defense. Hopefully they can return the favor and drop this punt in the end zone for a touchback.
Ooh.
There we go. Bengals going to take over at the 20 with just under 9.5 left in this game. This is going to be a big drive. Only up 1 point, 17-16 in the fourth quarter. The difference at this point in this game, a missed extra point by the Browns on their last touchdown. All right, let's take a look at some of the reactions. How are we feeling, guys, in the comments? What are our expectations? What is our confidence? Let me know. Drop a comment. Ask a question. Hit me up. I'm here. Crash out if you need to. Complimentary football is what we've been asking for, says Just Eric. Yeah, I came at the very last moment. Looks like Trey maybe jammed his neck or back possibly. Well, let's hope not. I don't know if there was enough of that to come to that conclusion, to jump to that conclusion, but we'll see. I'm sure he'll be fine. It'll be a great time to the Bengals to get back to the magic they were unleashing on their opening drive. Yeah, the magic that Willie is talking about here was the run game being a force, and they absolutely ran the ball down the Browns' throat on the opening drive with some really nice patience from Chase Brown and some good footwork and getting upfield. Jordan Battle is playing excellent, says Riley. Been about 50-50, I would say.
He's awake.
Attack the middle, stop attacking the edges, says Divine. Mon checking in. 3 consecutive drives, our defense has gotten the ball back for the offense. It's time for Joe and company to take advantage. I would agree. Let's get 6. So since that turnover, we've had... So I guess counting the turnover, the last 3 drives for the Browns offense have been turnover on downs, and now punt. So we'll take that. The defense is only allowed 16 points up until this point. We're back at action. Bengals on offense. Let's get a gritty here, guys.
Let's go. This is it.
9:22. Joe with the ball.
There you go. Oh, I thought
And
you dropped the
Burrow
chase.
sacked by Myles Garrett. Who else?
It's okay.
Thankfully, Joe probably didn't lose that many yards on that play since he was already in the process of moving up the pocket. I mean, I don't know how you stop that rush from Myles Garrett. I mean, you chipped him with the guard, and Myles is just so strong and so fast. He's moving upfield, and he's just superhuman, honestly.
All right, move on. We got
Second and 16, so still a pretty significant loss, and Joe has got to burn another timeout. That is a horrible look.
Why does he have to do that?
The play clock was down to 1 second, so if he didn't call that timeout, they were going to get a delay of game penalty. I don't know if there was an issue getting the play in on time after the sack, but you've now burned 2 timeouts in the fourth. You've only got 1 left in the game. It significantly hampers your ability to challenge an crucial play later in the game, worried about losing your final timeout. It's got to be better, Zach. You got to get the freaking play called and in there faster. One timeout left in the game, clinging to a 1-point lead, coming off a sack, and now a 2nd and long. Burrow in the second half is 2 of 8 for 15 yards. His last 2 throws were incompletions along the sideline where the receivers couldn't come down and field a play. And Joe is sacked by Myles Garrett on consecutive plays. So the last 3 plays on offense have been Myles Garrett leveling Joe Burrow on a throw, and now back-to-back sacks. It's now 3rd and 25, and I can't imagine.
At least you're not being blown out. breaking anything.
So they go empty.
60 yards, please. Throw it. Throw the fucking.
He has got to get rid of the goddamn football. Almost took a safety there to give them the lead and the ball back. Now by taking a third sack in a row, why would you go empty on third and a mile? He has got to get rid of the ball right then, knowing where he's at. Those last two sacks are 1,000% on number 9. You cannot blame the offensive line for those last two. Now your punter, who's having a real rough day, is backed up all the way to the back of the end zone.
I don't get what Princeton is. What does it even do?
You give the ball back to the other team. You have to do that.
No, I know. What's a good punt?
45 yards plus. Browns take over the ball in Bengals territory, down by 1.
We have to pick it back.
The slow starts didn't look like, after a 14-7 lead, after 3 drives, looked like they were going to avoid the slow starts. And the things that we had feared, I guess our worst fears this offseason, they're all coming to fruition here in the fourth quarter as the Browns are just outside of field goal range, just under 7 minutes left in the game. Second and 7 here. Got to have an answer defensively. A turnover would be huge. A sack would be huge. But I don't know what we're doing if we're not trying to force the action here on defense and dictate what they're doing. We're just sort of trying to be a reactionary defense. I'm not sure what that's accomplishing. Sure, it's slowing. The Browns are using these long, slow drives, death by 1,000 paper cuts. And instead, we're not getting significant impact plays other than we got a turnover on a tipped pass that went up into the air, which I believe I called 2 plays before it happened. Check the tape. Exactly. 1-11, in weeks 1 and 2. 1-11. Browns go empty. Flacco, Geno Stone on. So 3rd and 7. Dial up some pressure. For God's sake, bring some heat. If I have to watch Joe Flacco stand back in a clean pocket with 4 guys not getting any sort of rush, I'm going to have my first crash out of 2025, and it's going to be epic. 3rd and 7 from the 39-yard line. Got to get an incompletion here or a sack. Nope. Instead, a first down for the Browns. Jerry Jeudy, wide open. 6 minutes. It's the exact same play that they ran in the first quarter, where Jeudy got the pass interference on DJ Turner. Exact same play. Uh-oh. Flag down. Guessing this is it's an illegal man downfield. Ineligible player downfield. Penalty is declined. 2nd and 10 instead of 1st and 15. Okay. What that just told me is Zach is hoping to get the ball back down by 2 points to go win this game with a field goal. Short run. Huge play coming right now. Huge. 3rd and 6. Got to hold them to this field goal attempt because that clock is not their friend. And the way Cleveland has been moving the ball just slow and steadily every single time they get it and completely taking the Bengals offense off the field and out of any sort of rhythm. Got to make this play. 3rd and 6. No pressure. 4-man rush. Judy completely murders Cam Taylor-Britt off the line. CTB was lost in coverage on that play. Completely flat-footed. He watched Jerry Jeudy run right past him. I don't know how you let that happen. Completely flat-footed. Watched him run right past him. Huge Browns first down. Clock ticking. 4.5 minutes left in this game. You got to think that if Cleveland scores a touchdown here, they'll be going for 2. But a nice run stop here. And again, tick, 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 tick. The clock is not the Bengals' friend at this point. And the fact that they only have 1 touchdown because 2 separate times they've been slow to get the play out there. How do you even say that kicker's name? I've missed them say it every time, but it looks to me like nice rally there. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 9. Get them off the field. Let's go. 3.5 minutes left in this game. Only 1 timeout. You have the 2-minute warning as your friend. You have to make this play. You have to make this play on defense. You almost have to make this play and call timeout. Get him! Sack! BJ Hill and Trey probably going to share that. Oh, Schmidt. Snotzism. Schmidt. Okay. Let's push another one wide right. Schmitty. And he did! And he did! Let's go! Let's go! Way to go, Schmizit. Missed field goal. Let's go. Now the Browns have all their timeouts and the 2-minute warning. So it's going to take at least 1 first down here. Oof. You could see him. He said, oh, come on. Nope, not today, buddy. Sismit. Oh, my God. Myles Garrett is having the game of his life today. They can't block him for anything. He's chasing down run plays from behind. Like, what did he eat this morning? If they can't get a first down, they are going to give this poor kid a chance to be a hero. He is going to get the opportunity to win it. Out of bounds. Out of bounds. We're calling boundary plays. I know we're a yard shy of a first down, but are you kidding? That saves a timeout. We have reached the 2-minute warning, which guys, what do we do? Chat, what do we do? 4th down. 2-minute warning coming out of that. Do you have faith in this team to pick up this 4th down? I know you put them right back, or do you? Where is your confidence? Is it in? You have to get 1 yard. Do you have confidence in 1 yard, or do you have confidence in your defense keeping them out of field goal range? 4th and 1 from the 35. What do you do? Chat, what do you do? What do you think they're going to do? What a freaking moment in this game, in this season. Already. It's week 1 and we're already. I know it's a division game. I know it's the Browns. We always seem to go to Cleveland and have to slug one out with this team, no matter how terrible every national media member thinks they're going to be. What do you do? The Browns have 2 timeouts left. If you get this first down, the game is not over. If you get this first down, they will call timeout immediately. So you're looking at losing roughly 5 seconds off the clock. Then you've got first down. Then you can run another play and eat up another. They're going to call another timeout, their final timeout. You'll probably lose. You'll be down to 148. And then you can probably burn another minute, 10. Here we go. We're going to go for it. 4th and 1. Nope. All of it was just smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Not going to do it. Don't have the guts to do it. Gonna punt and hope that the defense that hasn't dialed up any pressure today. Hasn't called any blitzes. They have a couple sacks, and it's because Trey Hendrickson is a freaking animal. So after all of the offseason, after everything we've talked about, the first game of the season is going to just come down to the defense with under 2 minutes and the offense having a pair of timeouts. You got to hold them out of field goal range against a 40-year-old old man quarterback in Joe Flacco. Would you guys have punted in that situation? Or would you have gone for it? What was the right call? Did Zach make the right call there? 4th and 1. In the second half, you haven't been able to do those things. What was the right call? Browns in shotgun. Browns are ready to first down, 9 yards, like the easiest pitch and catch to David Njoku you've ever seen. If you're going to play coverage and not bring pressure, then play coverage. You can't do both. You can't. Oh, picked off. Another one. Another Browns drop turns into a Bengals interception. This time, DJ Turner gets the ball, and that is going to be, they are going to be able to end this one based on 1:24 on the clock. Neither of those 2 interceptions have been Flacco's fault. This is the guy that caught the touchdown for the Browns earlier. He can't make the play. He completely drops this ball. And it could have just dropped, but instead he kept it in the air. And DJ Turner makes a clean interception. And the Bengals are going to hold on despite playing a terrible offensive second half in this game. They are going to play. Oh my goodness. The Browns are going to get the ball back probably with 20 seconds left. No timeouts. So the game is not curtains, but it's going to be about as difficult as you could possibly make it. Joe Flacco has more than doubled Joe Burrow's passing yards today. This was not, it started nice. There we go. That's going to give the Bengals 5 yards. This was not after the first couple drives, after taking that 14-7 lead. This was not the offense. Cleveland did a great job on defense. And they are completely selling out to stop the run here so they can call a quick timeout. Second and 8 now. You've got to be able to get positive yards. We can't have a 3-yard loss on this run like we did on first down and hope to catch them jumping. Go win this game. Run this ball for a first down. Bengals come to the line, let the clock run out to call a timeout, hopefully trying to catch another cheap 5 yards. Keep those hammies warm, guys. God, this was a really, really bad offensive performance after that second touchdown. Jesus. Are we going to lose 3 yards every time we run the ball now? So the Browns have used their final timeout. They can no longer stop the clock. So we're going to run another play here. God, they have lost on 3 carries on this drive. They have lost 11 yards running the ball. That's going to take them down to 30 seconds. The Browns are going to have about 25 seconds to get into field goal range with no timeouts. Yeah. They've been very opportunistic of the mistakes around them, but I haven't seen this team force these stops. 3 drives in the second half that ended in 2 by drops that turned into interceptions, and 1 that was a 3rd and 5 dropped, and 1 that was a 4th and 5 dropped. Wow. You really made that interesting. They've got to go 99 yards in 19 seconds with no timeouts. Whatever you do, don't get beat deep down the sideline. You cannot. Great. I've been killing Ryan all day. The Ryan Rico, killing him. That was a great punt. Great job. "13 seconds. Trey applying a lot of pressure there. Might have been held in the end zone, which would have been a safety. and really ended the game. The rush defense today, a little leaky on that first drive, but you got to give Al Golden's unit a lot of props for their rush defense. 49 rush yards allowed, and this is a team that wants to do nothing more than run the ball, especially with the players that they have. All right, we'll give you 7 yards and wasting 7 seconds. 8 seconds left in this game. That is not enough time to throw a ball downfield inbounds and everyone come up and spike it. You cannot get beat deep along the sideline. Cannot happen. Back them up. False start. Back them up. Trey was trying to next level that, hoping there was a runoff for the penalty, but the clock was stopped. No runoff. 8 seconds left. Flacco back. Judy goes down. Bengals somehow survive, somehow open the season 1-0. A lot of grit, a lot of luck, but I will take it. I will take it. It doesn't matter. It was the Browns. It was week 1. The last time they won week 1, and you're watching the telecast right now, you see it. That was the year we went to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying just a week 1 win means they're going to the Super Bowl, but for a guy who's 1-11 as head coach, weeks 1 through 2 in his tenure, 1-11. He is now 2-11 and 1-0 to start the season. Doesn't matter on Monday. It doesn't matter how they won. It just matters that they won. When you look at the standings, it's going to show you that they're in first place or in a tie for first place. Let's check. Now go check around the league what happened. Let's see how some of their competitors are faring. As the Bengals are 1-0 after a 17-16 victory over the Browns in Cleveland, holding on for dear life, a day where Chase Brown rushed for only 43 yards. Because honestly, on that last drive, he lost 12 yards going backwards on every play. Joe Burrow, 113 yards passing, just 113 yards on 14 of 23. That's like 56% passing. Joe Burrow is the all-time leader in NFL history in completion percentage, and he was held to just above 50% today. This was a really, really bad day for the offense. They scored 17 points, but man, after they got those in the first 3 drives, and after that, you saw nothing from them. The defense, time after time in the second half, gave them the ball back to go put this game away. And all they could muster after the first turnover was a few yards and a field goal to give them the lead. They did nothing in the second half. Let's go back and check this NFL scoreboard and see how things are going on around the rest of the league here. And it looks like Michael Penix may have just ran a ball in on 4th and goal to give the Falcons the lead with just over 2 minutes left to play. Falcons take the lead on a Michael Penix touchdown run on 4th and goal. Wow. Able to stretch and just get the nose of the ball to the goal line. That's going to give the Falcons a 20-17 lead with 2:17 left. We'll see what Baker and the Bucs can do with their final possession. Raiders get the ball back 18 seconds left. This game is over. The Raiders go into Foxborough and win 20-13. The Steelers have taken the lead, and with 30 seconds left, the Jets have the ball and driving now with a fourth and 3, a huge fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers with 4 touchdowns today for the Steelers. It's going to take some serious miracle here. 4th and 3. If the Jets are going to make this comeback and make a field goal wins it. They're only down 2. Crazy. 4th and 3 for the Jets. And a 4th and 3 is incomplete. Steelers are going to take over on downs, and a huge comeback for the Steelers week 1. So Steelers, Bengals, both 1-0 to start the season. Cleveland 0-1, and the Ravens to play tonight against the Bills. The Commanders with a easy win in their opener at home. Keep the Giants out of the end zone, 21-6. Russell Wilson not feeling very dangerous today. I can't imagine a world where they're not turning to Jackson Dart here pretty soon. Jaguars, 20-3 over the Panthers. This is a game that appears to still be in the third quarter. I don't know enough about what's been going on, whether they had a weather delay but for that to be early in the third quarter, there was either a bad injury delay or a weather in Jacksonville, Florida. Weather is pretty tricky. Titans are getting just started, and the 49ers Seahawks kicked off. So to get back to just to kind of put a button on what we saw today here with the Bengals and the Browns. The positives. The Bengals won the turnover battle. That's always going to be a key stat, and a stat that usually dictates a large amount of time the winner of the game. Bengals win the turnover. They didn't get have any turnovers themselves, and they get 2 interceptions off of caroms off the hands of Browns receivers today, but are there to fully take advantage of them. And since he wins, a nail biter. Another good thing, the run defense. Run defense held the Browns to 49 yards. This is a team that is known for running the ball really hard. So despite the fact that there were some very, very long drives, I think the Browns had 4 drives over 7 minutes, over 10 plays. That has to be cleaned up. Flacco too many times was able to get out the pocket and make a play. At 40 years old, can't have that. Or just sit back in a clean pocket with no pressure and throw a dart over the middle. Too many times the tight ends were running free. The Bengals still haven't found a way to consistently cover a tight end yet, despite drafting a pair of very good coverage linebackers and signing one in free agency who should have been able to help with some of that. If that falls on the play of the safeties, then that's still something that we haven't shored up in over since Jesse left. Other positives. Evan McPherson made all of his kicks today. There's 3 positives. Evan McPherson made all his kicks today. Negatives. Now it's hard to be this negative after a win. You want to be able to celebrate. You want to just dwell on the negatives. But after watching that game today, I mean, I'm going to take this win, and after this show, after this stream, I'm going to just throw it away, and I'm not going to think about the whys and the hows, and I'm just going to. I'm going to just enjoy the fact that after week 1, after the first game of the season, I'm in a good mood. Because the pass defense, despite 2 interceptions, is not any better. There's little to no pass rush. Al Golden was not bringing any pressure at all. They were trying to get home with a 4-man rush against a pretty talented offensive line the entire game. I don't understand. And when you saw that much more often than not, you weren't getting there. I know you have Trey Hendrickson, and he got a sack today, and he was involved with another. Those are 1 or 2 snaps of an entire game where the Browns' time of possession dwarfed the Bengals. Got to get off the field on 3rd down. Got to get off the field. Can't allow those long drives to just be sustained and end in points and kill you in the end. In the 4th quarter, you got to figure out a way to block the Browns. I know Myles Garrett is one of the greatest rushers of our generation. I know that. I get that. But there are ways to double team, to chip. I know sometimes the double teams and chips didn't even work, but you got to figure out a way to slow it down. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase getting 2 and 3 catches apiece, not okay. Joe Burrow's completion percentage being just a hair above 50%, not okay. Barely 100 yards in the pass game? Are you kidding me? This is the identity of the team. After the first quarter, after the first drive, where we thought that, oh man, this team, we just found out that we're a running team, that we're going to be able to be successful running the ball. We're not. After that first drive, found out the hard way that we were coming right back down to earth, and we can't run the ball a lick. When it came time to go win that game at the end, they lost 12 yards and 3 carries. Are you kidding me? So, based on the way I'm reacting, you'd think we got blown out. We won in the game. So I'm happy. I'm happy about that. But it wasn't pretty. It was ugly. All right, Bengals fans, I hope you enjoyed this stream. I'm so happy for those of you that came along for the ride and hopefully heard some analysis and some takes that helped that you liked. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Smash that like button. Give me become a subscriber for more Bengals content, more NFL content, more sports content in general. Hooday, and thanks for watching. See you soon.